So, after Thursday's day of crazy buzzer beaters, great plays, only two double-digit upsets, Friday started, and so today, Texas A&M versus Providence was the first game played. Texas A&M, they flowed here. What happened in this game was Providence and Texas A&M, both teams were playing really well in the first half. High tempo, upbeat. It was 50-50 late in the second half. But Providence, what happened was Texas A&M shut down the lanes to the basket with two good big men. And those big men rolled to the rim, and there were a bunch of runs happening. And then just towards the end of the game, it sort of settled down. What happened was Texas A&M shut down the lane. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. Texas A&M shut down the lane. So Providence was forced to shoot jumpers, and Providence didn't make any of the three-point jumpers or any of their jumpers, and they just kept breaking everything. Texas A&M took the ball, ran with it, ran fast, went in transition. They went up by 10. They hit a clutch three, making clutch baskets. Went on a quick 12-2 run, and they closed out that game. Texas A&M advances to the round of 32. They played really, really well. They executed. They looked sharper. Providence looked like a team that was inexperienced, even though those players have been in the tournament before. They just didn't play up to billing. They should have shown more cool. Obviously, towards the end of the game, they sort of lost awareness of the situation. Could have fouled. Could have lengthened the game. Had a chance to play well. They played well. They just sometimes in the tournament you have to be good at closing, and Texas A&M was good at closing. Went on some runs, and yeah, so no upset here. Texas A&M takes this one. So the next game, CSU Fullerton versus Purdue. This was a total team effort by Purdue. They completely everyone, Carson Edwards, Isaac Haas, everyone kind of showed out in this game. Yeah, they only scored about 74 points, but Cal State Fullerton only had 48. Cal State Fullerton was actually keeping pace a little bit in the first half, but towards the second half, sort of Purdue just sort of did their thing, moved away. Isaac Haas had an injury scare in this game, but he was able to come back and he was able to be strong. He fell a little awkwardly, but then he got back up. Purdue advances to the round of 32. They are my championship pick, so I hope they play really, really well. This game was a complete blowout in the second half. First half, Cal State Fullerton had a lot of energy. Second half, you can't really match it because Purdue's just the personnel is more on Purdue. So personnel just took over for the Purdue Boilermakers. Marshall versus Wichita State. Marshall came out really hot, making shots. They were anchored by their big man. Obviously, he was in foul trouble. Got a technical in the first half. They played really, really well in the first half. Got it up. Obviously, Wichita State kept executing. Went up by 3. Was able to go up by 3. They were anchored by Shaquille Morris and Landry Shaman making clutch baskets at the end of the half to steal the lead. But when the second half came, woo! Comes like I said, woo! Great action. They're playing great. Van Camp. Wichita State's really flowing. Both teams are really flowing. Offense is flowing. Game is close. Elmore's hit. Penova went out with his 4th foul. I thought that would affect Marshall, but no. Elmore and West really balled out, getting Marshall into a nice little lead. Obviously they were down, and they came back and took the lead without Penova. I think their best player. Obviously, they came out. They hit a bunch of threes. They were flowing. It went 74-72. Then they hit a basket. Then they threw up a nice little play design for Penova. Went up by 6. Then Frank Van Camp hit a 3, 78-75. Then they came back. Perfect play design to Penova for the dunk. Wichita State's late game execution sucked. They missed a bunch of shots late. Could have extended the game. Could have possibly given them more of a chance, but they couldn't. And Marshall just salted it away. So 13 beating a 4 again today. Marshall with the first upset of the day. 13 seeded Marshall. Obviously they won their conference, and they're a good team, solid team. Now they get to face someone else. So they get to face the winner of West Virginia Murray State. So they advance to the round of 32. The other game that was going on was Georgia State versus Cincinnati at the same time, almost the same time frame. Georgia State came out really well, lots of energy. If you know the coach and the story of the team, they were a 15 seed, obviously. For a 15 seed, they came out with a lot of energy, played really well coached. Cincinnati, Cumberland was sort of their best player. They sort of anchored themselves around Cumberland and their defense. They're obviously at the Georgia State, and going into the second half, 47-46, Georgia State, and Cincinnati just completely shut them out after that. Only 6 points after that, and Cincinnati had like 20 more. So Cincinnati was able to score, hit threes. Three-point line was huge for them in the second half. That's how they extended their lead, scored more points. They extended Cumberland. They fed off Cumberland's energy. They were able to play very, very fast, and they got it done. Georgia State couldn't keep up. Sometimes you'll outplay their thing. It's not a great game for Cincinnati. Obviously, AAC team. They've been playing solid, but this is not a good game for them. But they still roughed it out and got the win. North Carolina Lipscomb. North Carolina came out really, really flat. I felt like Lipscomb put up 34 in the first half, getting in the basket, hitting shots, but North Carolina went on a 12-2 run to end the first half. And in the second half, what happened was complete blowout. North Carolina killed them. Complete blowout. Came out, just outscored them crazy. I think the end of that half really lifted North Carolina. Some teams are second half teams, and that's what North Carolina did. They were a second half team, and they came up and they won. Butler, Arkansas. Also happening. Butler, Arkansas. Butler shut up. They came out 21-2. Putting it in, put the hammer in. But Arkansas sort of came back, clawed back, and then Butler sort of put them away in the second half. Butler played really, really well. Like I said, fundamental team, fundamental basketball. You play in the Big East. You play a lot of good teams. So I think that's what propelled Butler. They played really, really well. They were able to show defensively why they are one of the best teams in terms of defense. Obviously, great disciplined team, well-coached team. They shut down Macon. They shut down Arkansas. They didn't let Arkansas do anything that they like to do. They put Arkansas completely out of their comfort zone, and Arkansas missed shots, and Butler just easily made a bunch of shots, layups, got a bunch of easy shots, defense, transition, and easily won that game over Arkansas to advance, and they had to play Purdue. Also, a tournament update. Isaac Haas is out for the tournament, so there goes my bracket. Damn, that's crazy, man. Fuck. Damn it. West Virginia versus Murray State. Murray State never really got anything going. Yes, offensively they did score, and it looked like they were coming back, but Javon Carter, Teddy Allen just closed them out. Crazy game. Not even a fun game at all. Just fundamental game. Virginia played their style of basketball, dominated. Wire-to-wire domination from West Virginia. They played a great game for them. Good job advancing to the round of 32 to face Marshall earlier in the day with their big upset over Wichita State. Texas versus Nevada. This was a crazy one. But first half, Texas is sort of hitting threes, taking over the game, sort of. Also in the second half, they played really, really well, but Texas couldn't close it out. I mean, come on, man. How are you going to screw that up? 14-point lead in the second half, early, 40-26. And they're also up 13, 45-32. Big run by Nevada. Stephen's three, Hall laid it. Martin hit some free throws that cut it to 6. And then Stephen hit a 3, cut it to 4. Hall made a layup, cut it to 4. Martin hit a jumper, and Stevens an and 1, cut it to 1. Towards the end of the game, it was very close, very intense. Mohamed Bamba fouled out here. Caroline driving to the basket. 1 of 2 from the free throw line, so game went into overtime. Coleman, I thought Texas had this, because Coleman was hitting a bunch of jumpers, and Nevada was making stuff, but Nevada didn't look solid, but then Nevada came back. Caleb Martin hit 2 threes. Caleb Martin hit a layup, 2 to tie the game earlier in overtime. Then Caleb Martin hit 2 threes to put Nevada up 4, and Caleb Martin obviously just played great in that overtime period, and Texas didn't execute back, and Nevada got the win. So good job. Nevada avoided the upset. Obviously, Nevada came back from down 14. Fundamental game from Nevada. Texas didn't stay disciplined. Shaka Smart had it. If Bamba had stayed in the game, they probably would have won this game. Texas missed it. Big opportunity. Nevada escapes with the win. Creighton and advanced to the round of 32. Creighton versus Kansas State. This game was disgusting. This game was just, it wasn't fun to watch. It just 69-59. Like, what are you gonna do? Marcus Foster only had 5 points, worst game of his career. Obviously, it was up and down. The offenses never flowed. The game never flowed. McGurl, Stokes, also Brown for K-State. Their defense shut down Creighton's transition. Creighton didn't get any easy shots. Foster got completely shut down, and they just shut down everything Creighton loved to do, and defensively, they got it done. McGurl, who's had 13 points all year, had 16 in this one game. So K-State advances. Easy win for them. Like I said, defensively just shut down Creighton. This game wasn't fun. Creighton cut down to like 2 in the second half, but K-State just kept getting baskets and getting stops and making stuff happen. So obviously Creighton's best player, their anchor, didn't play well in this game. So Creighton's out and K-State advances to the round of 32. Michigan State versus Bucknell. Bucknell played really, really well in this game. They came out with a lot of energy, scoring baskets, keeping it close with Michigan State, and they took it. They even took the lead at one point, making a 3 and going up by 1. They cut the game in the half. Going in the half, they weren't down by too many. But what happened was in the second half, they hit like a rock bottom still half for like 8 minutes. They hit a field goal, and that's when Michigan State really pulled away. Miles Bridges, Langford, Jackson, they all hit baskets, layups, transition points. Zach Thomas played really well for them, 27 points. Late, they tried to hit some threes by Brown, but they almost made a improbable comeback, but there's not enough time on the clock at all. So they lost by 4. Michigan State advances to the round of 32 yet again, and that's the Michigan State gets to play Syracuse, but Michigan State, everyone's picked them to win that region because of their solid defense, and it showed up. They didn't, they held Bucknell scoreless for 8 minutes, and really they cut it close because Bucknell was actually kind of close in this game. So, congrats to Michigan State. Auburn versus Charleston. So Auburn's one of Auburn's top guards got in foul trouble early in this game. So since he got in foul trouble early, Auburn's offense didn't really flow. And Charleston didn't really flow either. So the first half was a little ugly, 25-25 only. So second half, they go on a 6-0 lead. Quick 6-0. They grab a quick 40-33 lead, but Charleston makes a run to cut it to 40-39. Then Auburn makes another little run. Then Charleston cuts it again, and then Murray hit a 3, so Charleston actually went up 55-53. Brown hit a 3 to counter it, then Harper hit a 3. So Auburn went back up, and then Brantley, and then that 3 was pretty much the go-ahead because Brantley missed some Brantley shot 4 free throws in that stretch, and he missed 3 of them, which are huge because in late game situations you have to make free throws, and if you're a 12 seed, you have to execute. 13 seed, you have to execute to try and make an upset. And Charleston just didn't execute well. They missed free throws. Riller went 1 for 2, and then Mitchell missed free throws from on the Auburn side. See, Riller actually got fouled on the elbow. If you watch the play, they didn't call it because I think it's one of those plays. I think at the end of the game, you swallow your whistle, you let them play. So you can't really blame the refs. You kind of have to blame the fact that you missed all those free throws late. So Charleston really put themselves out of the position to win. And Bruce Pearl grabs Auburn their first ever NCAA tournament win in a while. So congrats to Auburn going to the round of 32, and they will face off against ACC opponent, the Clemson Tigers. So Tigers versus Tigers. Xavier, Texas Southern. Xavier came out kind of good, and then they started to get flat. They went up 13-4. They got a little flat. Texas Southern did their thing, went on a 16-0 run. 16 seed. Arena's buzzing. But 2013, but JP McKira brought him back. JP McKira played really, really well. Xavier went out, and Blewett also came back, put him on a 33-8 run on the back burner, and the zone defense they tried out was really bad. They actually let up 83 points to Texas Southern, which is really bad because Texas Southern isn't even a team in this tournament that is considered as a threat, and 83 points to them is horrendous, but Blewett had 26 points, McKira had 29, and Cantor, Enos Cantor, his brother, had 24, playing really well in the second half with some great dribble moves. But yeah, Xavier advances to the round of 32. So good for them. Once again, they're playing well, playing great. Their style of offense is really, really fun to watch if you've seen them in the regular season. This was the biggest tournament upset in college basketball history. UMBC beat the brakes out of Virginia. It was crazy. Virginia did not look like Virginia in the second half. See, the first half, I figured, okay, Virginia's just settling in. They're not playing great. So it's 21-21 at the half, and I'm like, all right, Trey Lyles, all these guys playing well. Sherburne. So second half starts. Sherburne goes in, scores an and one, and then Sherburne hits a 3. They go up by 7. Then Mayura does a nice little move, little finger roll layup. They go up by 7. Then it just keeps going. The onslaught just kept going. Lyles hit a 3. They went up 8. Sherburne hit a 3. They went up by 11. And Lyles hit some free throws. They went up 37-24. Lyles hit a 3. Went up 41-27. Mayura hit a 3. They went up 16. Then Grant hit a layup. They went up by 14. Lyles hit a jumper for 3, which was 61-44 at that point, and Lamar had a dunk that was pretty much the exclamation point. So every time Virginia tried to make a run defensively, Jerome tried to keep him in the game, but Jerome also got in foul trouble. Virginia missed too many shots. It wasn't flowing for them. For UMBC, the shots were coming too easy. UMBC made a lot of three-pointers in the second half. It flowed for them. Their offense was free-flowing. They played at a high level. Obviously, if you want to beat a team like Virginia, you have to offensively be making shots. And that's what UMBC did. Offensively, they made shots because coming into the tournament, Virginia had was really bad in offensive efficiency for a team as the number 1 overall seed, and UMBC took advantage of that. They were like, all right, we're going to go in, we're going to shoot well, and they shot the brakes out of them. Obviously, Jarius Lyles was a player of the game. Mayura also played well. You got Sherburne who played well. Just those 3 guys, in total, they all just balled out in this game, and they completely killed Virginia. The first time in history a 16 seed has ever knocked off a 1 seed. That is nuts. In the history of the tournament, they're 135-1 now. That is unbelievable. UMBC is going crazy. They get to they get to face off K-State, but this is nuts. UMBC is really obviously if you saw them win their tournament, they weren't supposed to win their tournament. And they were a team that got smoked by Albany. And they still came back, they won. That's why the tournament is so great. Because yesterday, I felt it was kind of a bland day because not many upsets. Some of the upsets I expected to happen. So, up until that point, the day was a little bland. But when that happened, that's when it really started buzzing. I was like, whoo, okay. This is actually a really great day in disguise. So, nice upset for UMBC. That is crazy. Syracuse TCU. Syracuse beat them with the zone defense. They couldn't score for the last 4 minutes of the first half. TCU stole a lead, 8-0 run with the Williams layup at the end. The second half went back and forth. You got some layups by Howard. Howard hit a 3. They went up 4. Brissett hit a jumper. So the Q's went up 48-45. Then Chukwu hit 2 free throws. It's 47. Then Battle hit a jumper. Syracuse went up by 3. Then Howard basically hit the dagger. See, I hate when these teams can't make these free throws because then it puts them in a terrible position. And TCU was another team that missed some clutch free throws, but TCU also missed a clean look at 3. They had a clean look against that Syracuse zone, and they messed up. See, that's why I thought Syracuse would win. I like their zone defense. I like the way they execute on offense. They have more tournament experience. I haven't seen TCU in many years before. So I just thought the tournament experience would give Syracuse the win. I knew they'd be the only first 4 team that would win. All the other ones, they didn't have it in them. And this one, at Syracuse, they had it in them. So good job to Syracuse. Got the win. Jim Boeheim keeps winning. Round of 32 to play Michigan State, which I think is going to be a good coaching battle. Clemson sort of dominated New Mexico State. I know it was only 11-point game. Mitchell scored 23. Devoy had 22. Offensively, they scored a lot of threes. They pulled away from New Mexico State a little bit early in the first half, and they just sort of kept their edge. They shot. New Mexico State had a shot at a run in the second half, but too much aggressive defense. They couldn't get past Clemson's aggressive defense and tenaciousness, so they weren't able to capture the win, which is. In the tournament, you got to be prepared, and New Mexico State didn't look prepared, so that's just on them. They had a chance, but they just couldn't put all together, and they were actually picked in a lot of people's brackets. I didn't pick them, but a lot of other people did. So the last game of the night, which was actually kind of a terrible game, to be honest, Florida State versus Missouri. Missouri went up 7-1 early. They were buzzing, but Florida State went on a quick 11-0 run to take the lead, and I guess they just never looked back. And they also went on a 17-4 run at the end of the first half to go up 42-20. So you knew it was going to be a blowout, but Missouri did chip away. Missouri chipped away with Michael Porter Jr. They chipped away all the way down to 6, but Florida State just held up defensively. They didn't let them do anything. They won a 13-0 run to close out the game, and they won. Michael Porter Jr.'s college career is over. I like this kid, you see? Because this kid could have I heard this on TV, I agree with this. Michael Porter could have just shut it down and said, this is the end of my career. But no, he came out for his teammates, and he played for his teammates. He said, no, I want to play for my teammates, and I want to make sure, put them in a position where they can succeed and win. So I really like Michael Porter Jr. He's a good kid. Obviously, he was injured, so you can't really make a draft evaluation based on these games. So that's really, really fun for them. Good job to Florida State, 67-54 to advance to the round of 32 yet again. If you remember last year, they got smoked by Florida Gulf Coast in the round of 32, and this year they make it again. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. So, yeah, today was a little less eventful than Thursday, but you did see the greatest, if you watched it, you did see the greatest upset in college basketball history, which is a 16 knocking off a 1, which is crazy. UMBC was buzzing. Congratulations to them, man. They worked their ass off for this. You know, they had a buzzer beater to get in the tournament, in their championship game. So the fact that they worked their ass off just to get to the tournament, and then when they got to the tournament, Trey Lyles was cramping, Jerry Lyles was cramping, and he's still making shots. That's how good they were. They were flowing so well. It was a beatdown. It was a 20-point second half beatdown. Virginia couldn't make any shots. Crazy, man. 4 major upsets only on this day. There were 4 upsets. Marshall beating Wichita State earlier in the day. Butler beating Arkansas also earlier in the day. UMBC, and then 2 later, UMBC beating Virginia, and Syracuse beating TCU. I think the real major upset here is UMBC. Butler, I could see because they're disciplined. Marshall, that one was a bit of a surprise to me. Marshall, and UMBC were a surprise. The other two, I could see why. Like the defensive, the disciplined team, the good coaching. But I haven't, the other 2 teams, it was crazy. Another game went to overtime, Texas, Nevada, the second overtime game of the tournament, and last year there was only 1 all tournament long, already 2 this year, so obviously teams are playing really, really hard, playing up there. Last night there were no buzzer beaters, which is kind of a bummer, because you always want to see those in March Madness, but maybe they'll be there at the higher level. If you remember Bronson Creaney a couple years ago. So 5, unlike Thursday where 8 games came down to the wire, this time only 5 games came down to the wire, but they were fun games. So, they were just like, you watch the games, and those games came down the wire. Some of them were a lot of second half pullaways. When you have a day filled with a lot of 16-1s and a lot of overmatched teams playing against each other, sometimes some of the games aren't really going to go down to the wire, and I think that's what happened today. On Thursday it was more evenly matched. Yesterday it was obviously a little bit more unbalanced, and some teams were just so greatly superior. So you're gonna see a drop off there in terms of games that go down to the wire. But congratulations to UMBC. You made the upset of the tournament and probably the history of college basketball. You recapped the entire first round. That was the best upset ever. I can't wait to see. That is how the tournament is so great. My bracket is almost busted because of that. But I had Creighton beating Virginia anyway, so it's not really, But UMBC, oh my God, man, that is amazing. First round capper right there. Second round starts right now. Obviously, Alabama's playing Kentucky, and I will get to that probably tomorrow or next week at some point to get you guys some good content. So watch out for that. And a good first round night, some good games, good set, 32 games, good set of games, and we'll see what happens with the second round and the Sweet 16 is coming up next.